We all know that G-Shock watches are tough as nails, but finding the perfect one? That's a whole different ballgame. Luckily, I've been knee-deep in G-Shock specs, researching everything from shock resistance to funky new features. Want to know which ones are actually worth your hard-earned cash this year? I've narrowed it down to the top 5, and let me tell you, number 3 is so mind-blowing, it'll make you question everything you thought you knew about watches. Oh, and before you ask, yeah, I've found some killer deals for you in the description. For real, these prices are gonna blow your mind. Kicking off our countdown at number 5, we've got the G-Shock GW5000U 1JF Origin Tribute Screwback Watch. Now, this watch is a bit of an oddball on our list because it's actually an import model, but trust me, it's earned its spot fair and square. So what makes this watch so special? Well, it's a tribute to the original G-Shock from way back in 1983. But don't let that fool you, this isn't some outdated relic. Casio has packed it with all the modern tech that G-Shock fans crave. First off, it's made in Japan. That might not sound like a big deal, but for watch enthusiasts, it's like saying a car is made in Germany. It's a mark of quality. And speaking of quality, this bad boy has a stainless steel interior case with a screw lock case back. Oh, and did I mention the DLC coating? That's diamond-like carbon for those of you who aren't materials nerds. It's incredibly hard and scratch-resistant. Now let's talk about the face. It's got this clean, subdued style that's just mwah. It's the kind of watch that can go from the boardroom to the beach without missing a beat. And when it comes to features, this watch doesn't skimp. It's got tough solar power, so you never have to worry about changing batteries. Plus, it's got multiband 6 automatic radio timekeeping. That means it's always accurate, no matter where you are in the world. But here's the kicker. This isn't some limited edition that you'll have to sell your firstborn to get. It's a regularly produced model in Japan, so you can actually find it for a reasonable price. Moving up to number 4, we've got the G-Shock GWGB 1000 Mudmaster Solar Analog Digital Watch. This bad boy is built for the outdoors, and it shows. First things first, let's talk about the design. The GWGB 1000 Mudmaster continues the rugged style of its predecessors, but with a twist. It's got a carbon core guard case that offers a more comfortable fit for a wider range of wrist sizes. So if you've got dainty wrists but still want a watch that looks like it could survive a nuclear apocalypse, this might be your jam. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of what this watch can do. It's got a Bluetooth smartphone link, which is pretty standard these days, but here's where it gets cool. It's got an updated location indicator function. You can actually edit the saved location with a map on your smartphone app, and the watch will give you direction and distance data to that location. It's like having a GPS on your wrist, but way cooler. What's more, this watch gives you sunrise and sunset times, perfect for those early morning hikes or late night camping trips. Oh, and did I mention it's got a triple sensor? That means it's got a pressure sensor for altitude and barometric pressure, a compass, and a thermometer. It's like having a mini weather station on your wrist. But here's the real kicker. This is the first G-Shock watch to combine the triple sensor, Bluetooth, and tough solar power. Overall, if you love the outdoors and want a watch that can keep up with your adventures, this is the one for you. Alright, we're halfway through our list and things are about to get wild. Coming in at number 3, we've got the G-Shock GW9401 Rangeman Solar Digital Survival Watch. And let me tell you, this watch lives up to its name. The Rangeman is part of Casio's Master of G-Line, which is their top-tier professional use series, and boy, does it show. Let's start with the basics. Like our previous contenders, it's got tough solar power and multiband 6 for maintenance-free operation. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. This beast is rocking the triple sensor, giving you altimeter, barometer, compass, and thermometer. And accessing these features is a breeze thanks to the single-button operation. Now let's talk about durability. This watch is resistant to mud and dust thanks to its protected button structure, and when they say protected, they mean it. This watch looks like it could take a direct hit from a meteorite and keep on ticking. But here's where it gets really cool. The Rangeman is packed with features that make it a true survival watch. We're talking sunrise and sunset data, low temperature resistance, and a 1,000-hour stopwatch, and a 24-hour countdown timer. Oh, and it can store up to 40 records of date, time, bearing, atmospheric pressure, and temperature readings. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what about style? Well, let's be real. This watch isn't winning any beauty pageants, but that's not the point. The Rangeman has an aggressively bulky appearance that screams, "I'm ready for anything!" Is it perfect? Well, it might feel a bit large on smaller wrists, but if you're in the market for a serious outdoor or survival watch, that's a small price to pay for this level of functionality. And speaking of price, here's the kicker. Despite all these features, the Rangeman is surprisingly affordable. For the best deals, make sure to check out those links in the description below. You might be surprised at how much bang you can get for your buck. Coming in at number 2, we've got a watch that's been taking the G-Shock world by storm, the G-Shock GAB 2100. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't the GA 2100 series old news? Well, hear me out, because Casio has taken everything we loved about the GA 2100 and cranked it up to 11. First things first, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the design. The GA 2100 series, which debuted in 2019, quickly became one of the most popular G-Shock lines of all time. Why? Because it managed to do something that seemed impossible. It made G-Shock, dare we say it, fashionable. The GAB 2100 takes that winning design and adds some serious upgrades. The biggest change? Tough solar power. That's right. No more battery changes. And if that wasn't enough, they've also added Bluetooth smartphone link. But let's talk about what really sets this watch apart: the style. The GAB 2100 1A in particular is a standout. It features color accents inspired by the classic DW5600C 1V from 1987. Now, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. There's no multiband 6, so you don't get that atomic timekeeping, and there's no auto light activation. But let's be real. With Bluetooth Link giving you daily automatic time adjustment, do you really need atomic timekeeping? Finally, it's time for our top pick: the G-Shock GWM 5610-1 solar and radio-controlled digital sports watch. Now, some of you might be thinking, really? That's the best G-Shock this year? But hear me out, because this watch is special. The GWM 5610-1 is more than just a watch. It's a legacy. This bad boy continues the lineage and style of the very first G-Shock that launched the brand back in 1983. Let's start with the basics. It's got that classic square shape that screams G-Shock. But don't let its retro looks fool you. This watch is packed with modern features. First up, we've got tough solar power. That means you can say goodbye to battery changes. This watch will keep on ticking as long as there's light in the world. And let's not forget about the multiband 6 radio-controlled timekeeping. This watch syncs with atomic clocks around the world, making it more accurate than your smartphone. But here's what really sets this watch apart: its versatility. With its standard size and relatively slim profile, we're talking 12.7mm here, this watch can do something that many G-Shocks can't. It can disappear. Not literally, of course. But it is slim and unobtrusive enough that you can wear it to work, to the gym, or on a weekend camping trip without it ever feeling out of place. Now, some of you hardcore G-Shock fans might be thinking, but it's so simple. And you're right, it is simple. But that's the beauty of it. This watch embodies the core philosophy of G-Shock: absolute toughness. It doesn't need bells and whistles. It doesn't need a fancy display or 100 functions. It just needs to tell the time, accurately and reliably, no matter what you put it through. And there you have it, our top 5 G-Shock watches this year. Remember, for more information and updated prices, check the links in the description box below. And hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.